Hey, Scotty boy. How are you, mate? How's things? Hey up, Mr. Mason. Woohoo first. Hey, Joe Mike, DQ. Tracy. Hello. Hello, Anne. Yolanda. Well, I did go live this afternoon at a place, a haunted location. Can't you tell we got loads to do? Well, I know, we're the same. Well, actually, we've been busy today. We're supposed to be going out, but we've had a bit of a nightmare today. I went live this afternoon on members. And it was just a 10-15 minute video I did at this haunted location. Yeah, that's right. Nobody got any notifications, Scotty. Bloody Facebook never sending notifications out, so nobody knew. There were only, I think, Debs and Lindsay that came on when I were live. Nobody else knew we were live. So everyone missed that. Well, I mean, you can catch up on it. It's still there. I'm members. Why is that? No, it's that one. It's that one. Well, that's so weird. It's not moving. If I look at the picture, it looks like that's moving, and it's not. No, it might be slightly. I don't know. No, I've got it's got in a ponytail. It's doing my head in, so it's got to put it in a ponytail. It's not a man bun. I know. I didn't think they would actually. I mean, I saw it online a couple of days ago. That Tin Mine, and it looked good. Hey, Jules. It looked really good, but it didn't look quite as good as what it was when I got there. It were really good. So yeah, we did want to go and do an investigation there. We was hoping to go back tonight, but then we got back and we've had no hot water since Saturday. We had hot water Saturday, and then for some reason the boiler's broken down. So we rang them up when we got back this afternoon. Rang the letting agents up, and I got in trouble because apparently I shouldn't rank letting agents. So he told me off letting agents. I should have rang the owner apparently. So anyway, he said he'd sort it out. So anyway, owner rang me. I missed call because I thought he was going to call on Lindsay's phone, and it called on mine, and mine were on silent. When I did find out, when I went to put another post on about Truro Cathedral where we've been today, and yeah, so we've had to wait in for the guy to come round, the tradesman, whatever. How dare you? I know. Well, I thought there were two numbers in book, right? There's two numbers in book. I'm not going to show them you, but we have this book. They give us this book, right? With all information and everything in for letting and your holiday. And when you look, it says there's a contact agent, there's a property manager, and then there's a property owners. So I thought, well, this is what property owners play letting agents for, innit? Is to manage the property for them. But apparently, no. Apparently, I should have rang owners. But owner was cool with it. He'd not got a problem. It weren't letting agent. He weren't right happy with me. But he did say to me, this once, I will ring the owner and explain the situation to him. But in future, if you have any problems, can you ring the owner, not us? Okay, whatever. Owner's cool. He's a really good guy. And but apparently now, anyway, like I said, we've had to wait in for the guy to come round, tradesman, and he's been round, and apparently the water tank's now sprung a leak, so they can't sort it out tomorrow at the earliest. Yeah, this once, that were his words. I'll sort it this once. I'm like, don't I want to pay your lot, to manage his property for it, rather than ringing owner. But I know for future anyway. So yeah, so we were going to go out, but then we've had to wait in for this guy. So he's not long since been gone. So Lindsay's just gone to get a shower. No, we can still. Well, there's no gas in the property. It's all electric. I'm going to just work that out today because it's an electric cooker and a thing. Dehumidifier probably air going off. It's an old farm building that we're in. It used to actually be a grain store, and they've converted it into this property. But obviously all the central heating, they're all electric. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, Anne. Exactly what I thought. Hey, Kaz, hope you well. I thought, well, that's what letting agents are for. So you would ring the letting agent. Obviously not. Well, we didn't mind so much. We were back this afternoon. We've been out on a foot morning, as the members know, because I did go live on our members for Wheels Coats, Tin Mine, and then I put some photographs on of Truro Cathedral. But we went to Truro and I saw the cathedral and I thought, wow, I'll take some pictures and I'll put them on when I get home. What an idea. I'll do a bit of history and I'll put them on with history. Not really realising the history of Truro Cathedral when I took the pictures. It turns out that the Truro Cathedral was not only, but it was built in the 1800s. But the most interesting fact about Truro Cathedral is it's the first cathedral that's been built, or first Anglican cathedral that's been built in England since the 1200s. On a new site, apparently. That's its claim to fame. But it is a beautiful building. So anyway, they're going to source a new tank tomorrow. And they will let me know tomorrow. It's too late tonight, obviously, for trying to source a tank. So they're going to try and source one tomorrow. And hopefully, yeah. So getting back to Tracy's, you see, I'm off on one on a tangent. So I only realised it's all electric today. It's not a grain store. They put electric in. Obviously, washing machine's electric, cooker and oven's electric, the dehumidifier's electric, all the heating's electric. So we've got a shower in, which is electric. So we can have a shower, we just can't have a bath. And if we want to wash pots, we have to boil kettle because we've got no hot water. It's a good job I'm not. They can see reflection though.
No, they can't see no reflection because there's no windows.
Yeah, so we can have a shower, we just can't have a bath. We haven't had a bath for about 10 years anyway.
Tramp.
Have a shower every day.
Tooth hurts. That fucking steak's pulling my tooth out.
Hiya, Laura. She's not swinging her thing. No, it's not a new property. It's quite an old property. It's an old grain store on a farm that's been converted. I don't know how long ago it was converted. I think it's been a while since it's been converted, actually. But it's beautiful. I mean, Lindsay showed everybody around it. Bjorn says hi. Well, everybody says hi, actually. Hey. It's been done really well. It's nice little property. I would recommend if you come to Cornwall and you come to Perranporth area, have a look for the Roundhouse. And stay here. It's right nice, really nice. Anyway, so we haven't done the history for a while on this day in history, not since 14th of September. So we've actually got the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, 18th, 19th, and today is the 20th, isn't it? Yeah. So we've got a few to go at. So I thought I'll get these out of the way now, and then how's your ankle feeling? So that's all we're going to get. We're not going to get out else. So
Big.
Swollen. So we haven't been to Penzance yet, but there was one place I did want. Do you know I always get?
I think Penzance is somewhere where they're going close to tomorrow.
Let me have a look. I'll show you. Stay there. Just don't vote. Yeah, don't vote letting agent if you stop here. Just vote owner. Not an happy bunny. There was somewhere I wanted to go near Penzance. It weren't Sainsbury's. There'll be nowhere near Penzance it'll turn out in end. Well, Penzance from here is
About an hour.
34 minutes. No, Sennon's a lot further on.
Not too far for me to drive tomorrow.
Actually, it might not be Penzance that I'm thinking of. No, it's not. It was Pendennis Castle I wanted to go to have a look at. That's Pendennis Castle, I think. So I would like to have gone to have a look there. I know it was Penn Summit. Oh, you won't do that, Scotty. You're getting some rate trouble. Phone it, letting agent. See, I've put sound on my phone now, and it just doesn't stop. Who's this? So I'll tell you what my notification is. Paranormal, Midnight Paranormal's gone live on YouTube. There you go. Yes, you've got to be careful how you type Pendennis. It's all one word. That's one thing that I've noticed here. You know, what was that place called?
I don't know, they're all white sentences.
It's like in Cornwall, and I don't mean any offence to anybody if you're from Cornwall, but they seem to like the names of places. They put words together like Short Lane Ends Summit. What were it? Short Lane Ends Cross or something. And did you make it into one word? So it's just one word. Short Lane Ends Cross is the name of the place. Something like that, anyway. I will tell you in a minute.
Bastard.
Lindsay.
It's all right.
Short Lane End. Short Lane End. It's just called Short Lane End. Short Lane's End. See, they just they just put loads of words together and make a name out on it. It gets so confusing. What can I like that for?
Lost my clip.
What do you want me to do? I'm live.
Nothing.
Hold on. 10 minutes on the notice step, Tracy says you've got.
Go me. Why?
Swear it, because you're on strike 2 already.
I am not on strike 2. I am not.
Oh, thank you, Joanne. We love you too. If you'd have been, I'll tell you what's up, Tracy. If you'd have been here with her today, it'd have been 3 hours on notice step for Lindsay. I'm telling you, it's hair's been blue most of the day.
Why?
She's been in pain.
Well, yeah. Thought you meant I were cussing just because.
been cussing at everybody. Definitely not on strike 2, not at all, never. Crying laughing faces. I'm about strike 34 today. Anyway, if I ain't got sidetracked again, if I have, you'll have to tell me what I got sidetracked off, because I'm shocking at a minute with this. I've got some custard donuts to have in a bit. No, you don't want to watch Yolanda try and type Pendennis. That could end up being...
Pendemus. Penis.
Yes. Look, you see, you have to be crude, don't you?
I'm not being crude, I'm being Yolanda.
You're trying to say Yolanda's crude?
Yeah.
Or nothing to do with that conversation. You can sort that out with Yolanda yourself. So we'll go back to the 14th of September, because we didn't do the Lindsay didn't do the 14th of September. Today, in 1752, Britain and her empire awoke on 14th of September. The previous day having been the 2nd. Some were unsettled. Others, like Benjamin Franklin, were sanguine, joking that it was pleasant for an old man to go to bed on September the 2nd and not have to get up until September the 14th. And how long has she lived with you, though, Lindsay?
Yo-yo.
Yeah. As we were saying, you're calling Yolanda crude, but she's lived with you, so she's...
Can. Oh. Let me leg up.
During the first half of the 18th century, Britain, as other Protestant and Orthodox countries, continued to use the Julian calendar, named for Julius Caesar, as opposed to the newer Georgian one introduced by Pope Gregory XIII in 1582 and imposed by the papal bull throughout Catholic Europe. While the motivation had been religious, to align the day of Easter with that celebrated by the earlier church and was denounced by the Church of England as a popish monstrosity, previous attempts to introduce it into Protestant England having been defeated, it was recognised by scientists as superior. The old calendar did miscalculate the length of the year by 11 minutes, causing slippage over time. Parliament accepted their arguments, lamenting to the frequent mistakes caused by the use of the Julian calendar, while many neighbours used the Georgian one. The transition did involve practical issues. What if your birthday fell during those missing 11 days? Some actually moved their birthday. Contracts specifying payment dates or delivering dates or even prison release dates were all affected, though Parliament clarified that contractual payment dates should remain as under the Julian calendar. Simultaneously, New Year's Day was moved from the 25th of March, Old Style, to the 1st of January, New Style, meaning that 1751 would be particularly short, 282 days from the 25th of March to the 31st of December. The following year, 1752, was also short, 355 days, having lost the period between the 2nd and the 14th of September. While it has been claimed that riots occurred, some demanding the return of their 11 days, it is thought now that this is a myth. So, in 1752, we lost 11 days. I used to do that quite a lot in the 90s. I lost 11 days like regular. But that's another story. 15th of September. It was the dawn of the era of mechanised transport, so perhaps, appropriately, it did not go entirely to plan. Today, in 1830, a railway running between Liverpool and Manchester formally opened. It was the first fully locomotive-pulled railway to connect two major cities. Hold on. What? What are you on about?
There's a dancing sperm on my thing.
Where?
You have to come here.
I can't. On screen?
Yeah.
What, where I am?
Oh, I've come off it now. No, Peter put a thing on it. It looks. I think it's supposed to be a rabbit, but it looks like a sperm that's doing push-ups.
It was a massive event. The Prime Minister, the Duke of Wellington, took his place on one of the 8 special trains to set out from Liverpool. Crowds lined the track and gathered in Manchester where the trains were expected to arrive.
Jules has just put one up.
Oh.
You see it?
Yeah. Naturally, there were delays. One of the trains derailed and the train behind collided with it. Though no one was badly hurt, much more seriously, around the midpoint of the journey as the trains paused to take on water, many passengers got off. One of them was former cabinet minister called William Huskinson, who went to pay his respects to the Duke, shaking the Duke's hand and talking with him. Huskinson failed to see a train approaching on the adjacent track. He was hit by it and suffered serious leg injuries, from which later that night he died. While Wellington felt remaining events should be cancelled and a return made to Liverpool, by now the crowds in Manchester were becoming drunken and unruly, and he was persuaded to continue. By the time he arrived, any atmosphere of celebration had turned to hostility. Far from cheering and waving flags, the crowd threw vegetables at the Duke. He refused to disembark, returning instead to the comfort of a stately home outside Liverpool, where he arrived over 6 hours late. For him personally, it had been a horror show. He did not travel by train again for over a decade. For all its tragedy, though, the sudden death of William Huskinson caused massive publicity. The line soon became very successful. The technology was transformative. The railway secretary rightfully declared, has received a new impulse. This short stretch of track was the start of a global rail network that now stretches over 620,000 miles, 1 million kilometers. Facebook said I wasn't able to buy you stars, but then I see in the comments it said I'd did send 99 stars. Can you check later and see if they did go? I will check for you, Laura. I have no idea because I cannot see. I'm on StreamYard, so I cannot see whether they went through or not. But I will check for you later and let you know. So, that was that. 16th of September. To many, he was the last true prince. Today, in 1400, Owain Glendower was declared Prince of Wales, the last time the title was adopted by someone who was actually a native of Wales. It was an act of rebellion against English rule and the start of a bitter conflict that raged for more than a decade. Descended from the princes of Powys, Glendower was from a family of borderland gentry, Anglo-Welsh, and moving easily as such between the two societies. He studied for a time in London, serving in the army of a man who would become King Henry IV. He gained military and diplomatic experience at the side of some of the most accomplished generals and statesmen of the age. But when he returned to Wales, he was appalled by the damage caused by English rule. A bitter feud with a well-connected neighbour escalated quickly into a national struggle for freedom. Glendower defeated enemy forces on the battlefield, limiting the king's writ to a few scattered castles, while his charisma and vision for the future of Wales brought distinguished supporters flocking to his banner. Welsh students at Oxford University abandoned their studies to join the cause. He held court, established an independent Welsh parliament, tried to establish 2 Welsh universities, believed in a separate Welsh church, and advocated a return to traditional Welsh law. Hold on. He sought alliances with the rebel Englishmen and even convinced the French king to send an expeditionary force to support his cause. Gradually, though, the unrelenting enmity of King Henry IV's teenage son, who became the warrior king Henry V, ground down by revolt. Glendower's stronghold fell, but his supporters never betrayed him. He went into hiding and was never found, his final act of resistance against English rule. He did, though, have the last laugh. Not only is he personally revered, but Glendower's cousins bore the name Ap Tudor. In time, his family would produce a dynasty which, if it did not restore Welsh independence, did see a Welshman rule, not just in Wales, but in England too. See, we're on about names, weren't we? And we're saying it were competing with Welsh, and then we get one we.
It's getting hot in here.
Well, you know what I can do?
Let's take off all our clothes.
No, let's not.
I can't believe why you could keep it straight.
Why?
No.
That needs to go over now.
It's right weird watching you here when you just sat behind me.
Wait until that comes on screen.
So what comes on?
17th of September. The space rocket was rolled out of a giant hangar at Palmdale, Southern California, in front of a crowd of politicians, well-wishers, and celebrities. On hand were a group of actors from the TV show Star Trek. Today, in 1976, the NASA administrator, Dr. James Fletcher, stood beside Bones, Sulu, Scotty, and Spock as they watched the unveiling of the world's first reusable spacecraft. The actors were there because the president had changed the name of the prototype from Constitution to Enterprise after a vast write-in campaign from Star Trek fans. It was the launch of the space shuttle which would undergo more tests and improvements before blasting into space on operational missions 6 years later. The shuttle team had worked for a decade in the build-up to today's unveiling. The cost of each of the Apollo's moon landing missions had been vast. One way of reducing that was to employ a reusable vehicle. Journalists gathered at the event described it as a space plane, and they had a point. The spacecraft would be fired into space by rocket boosters, which were jettisoned and recovered, and it had its own engines for adjusting its orbit and re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. On its final approach, the shuttle effectively glided towards the Earth. Over the next 35 years, 5 shuttles were built, which flew 135 missions. They launched satellites, conducted experiments, helped build the International Space Station, and launched the Hubble Space Telescope and various interplanetary probes. Combined, they traveled around 500 million miles, and apart from Challenger, which broke up seconds into its 10th mission, they have all flown further than the distance between the Earth and the Sun. For 3 critical decades between the first generation of spacecraft and the modern proliferation of private companies operating an array of different vehicles, the shuttle program was the workhorse of manned space experimentation and exploration. Eighteenth, we've only got 3 more now. We're on 18th. Hey Lily, hey Gemma, hey Claire. Okay, all well. So on the 18th of September, this was Saturday as we came down here, and this is what happened on this day in history. Until the late 20th century, referenda were considered distinctly un-British. The Constitution has an unresolved question and its unwritten core. Who or what exactly is in charge? The theoretical answer is Queen in Parliament, a compromise which melds three traditional sources of authority into one body. The people, whose will is expressed through their elected representatives in the House of Commons, the Lords, and the Sovereign. Referenda blast this settlement apart. They are an unavoidable, decisive assertion of popular sovereignty. As such, they were avoided wherever possible by British governments. Only 3 national referenda have ever taken place so far. 2 of them were held to define the nature of Britain's relationship with Europe. There have been other referenda with specific parts of the country, and they have nearly all addressed a similar question. What level of autonomy or even outright independence do electors wish to have? This blooming computer. The most dramatic of these was held today in 2014 as the people of Scotland were asked if they wished to stay inside the United Kingdom. Really?
Sorry, there's a fly and it's bugging me.
They did. Just an astonishing 85% of eligible voters turned out, around 20% higher than a run-of-the-mill general election. By 55% to 45%, the electorate voted to remain. It was the first time in history that any of the citizens of England, Wales or Scotland had been asked to pass judgment on their membership of a country that has evolved in composition countless times over the centuries. Campaigners for continued membership of the UK complained that it was impossible to counter the utopian rhetoric of the pro-independence campaign, who promised a future made infinitely brighter by the return of sovereignty to the people of Scotland. They should not have been surprised. Subsuming oneself in a wider political union has always been a tough sell. A leading politician who witnessed the union of the two nations in 1707 wrote, "Never did a treaty produce more ultimate advantage to a nation, never was any received with such a general and thorough hatred." There you go. Hey, Kelly. Oh, this computer just keeps, comments keep stopping. The 19th of September, yesterday. He is the greatest general that no one has ever heard of, and whose legacy endures. Today, in AD 634, the city of Damascus, one of the oldest continually inhabited cities in the world, and bastion of the Roman Empire in the east, fell to a commander calling himself the drawn sword of Allah. It was one of the first times that a major city had fallen to the Muslim forces outside the heartland of the Arabian Peninsula. It would not be the last. Only 2 years previously, Muhammad, the prophet who had founded the Islamic religion, had died and was succeeded by Abu Bakr, whose companion, advisor, and father-in-law, through his entitlement to be, I do apologize to any Muslims because I can't pronounce it, Caliph, has divided the Muslim world ever since. Abu was who led the invasion of Syria.
Laughing at Laura. Better be a chameleon.
Yeah, blend in and be quiet. Abu it was who led the invasion of Syria, but the victory belonged to Khalid ibn al-Walid, the genius who fought over 200 engagements and never lost a single one. Inside information, it seems, permitted the Muslim forces to launch a surprise attack on a strong but lightly defended segment of the city walls. Ropes allowed around 100 specially selected soldiers to climb up to overwhelm the guards and to open the city's east gate. What are you laughing at now?
It's Miyagi. Miyagi.
Who's Miyagi?
Tracy's Miyagi.
There was a dispute in the confusion about whether the city had surrendered or had been captured, but it was agreed that three days of peace should be guaranteed. They have this guarantee on behalf of Allah, the Messenger of Allah, the Caliph, and the Muslims, from whom they shall receive nothing but good so long as they pay the jizya. Pay the jizya. It's a tax levied by Muslim upon non-Muslim subjects. It just looks wrong. It was the start of a period of extraordinary expansion in which the Muslim armies conquered the Levant, Persia, and Egypt. What Hugh Kennedy has written on the conquest of Egypt is true more broadly. Seldom in history can so massive a political change have happened so swiftly and been so long-lasting. There we go. And then we're on to today's. So we are back. Well, I don't know. It's spelled Jizya. Now you tell me how that's pronounced. So the 20th of September today. So we are actually on this day in history now. No one gave them a chance against the legendary discipline of the Prussian infantry. But today, in 1792, French revolutionary forces repelled a Prussian invasion at Valmy. It was certainly not a substantial battle, but it was one of history's most important, saving La Révolution, which in turn changed everything. Yeah, jizya. Just sounds wrong. It was a result very few had expected. The Prussian army had marched into France with the support of all the great European powers, with the French Revolution seemed to be sliding towards radicalism and republicanism. When the Prussian-led force pushed into France, the French army, stripped of many of its experienced aristocratic officers, seemed unable to stop the Prussians marching straight into Paris. Around half the army was made up of enthusiastic volunteers, but critically, the artillery was full of veterans who knew their business. The French commander chose an imposing ridge, lined it with guns, and hoped the Prussians would arrogantly march straight at them. His enemy obliged. As the morning mist cleared, the French cannon blasted the Prussians as they labored up the hill. They wavered, and the French general roared, "Vive la nation!" Nation? I don't know. I can't speak French at all. The cry was taken up by the entire line. The Marseillaise was sung by tens of thousands of voices. The Prussians fled. It was a turning point in the history of warfare. An unenthused force of conscripts, drawn from a polyglot collection of provinces, motivated only by a fear of sergeant's musket butt, fighting for the hereditary rights of some distant prince or duke, suddenly felt anachronistic.
Oh, yeah.
The watching German poet recognized how significant it was. From this day forth, he wrote, begins a new era in the history of the world. Over the next 2 days, the Prussians hastened for the Rhine. The French National Assembly, emboldened by the news of victory, abolished the French monarchy and proclaimed the French Republic. Valmy had saved the revolution and its most vulnerable. Within a few years, there was nowhere in Europe that would not feel the effect of its searing radicalism. No, it's not Scrumpy, it's Rattler. So Lindsay's got 21st.
We're having a bit of Rattler. Ain't got none tonight, though, have we?
No, we've got no Rattler tonight. No Rattler tonight at all.
Come.
Rattler is actually a cider. It's actually the cider farm. It's
Very
about
nice
2
cider.
minutes that way.
Wow.
We're hoping to go one day this week.
I'm not paying though. Jordan and Dan's got ticket, so we'll use their ticket.
We was actually going to go to Bodmin Jail one day this week, but
We might still, but it depends.
I don't think we're gonna. Only because I've been looking on the website today, and although it's not expensive to get in,
Oh.
with £12.50, we ain't got a problem with that at all. But when you read on the thing, we're not allowed to video or take photographs inside anywhere. It's prohibited to take pictures or video inside the, what do they call it, attraction or whatever, I don't know, whatever they call it. So we were going to go so we could either take some photographs or do a video, not particularly go live, but maybe film and go around and then put it on this page and let you guys have a look at it and put some history and
I've
things
had to
and
come off
stories.
Facebook because it's broken.
Um,
And just see if I need an update. Can you make me a cup of tea?
you went in the shower, it'd be cold by now. I will make one when I come off this live. You're going to jail because you phoned letting it. That's probably true, actually. I'm waiting for Busies.
Facebook's got an update.
I'm waiting for Busies to come round and arrest me now. Hey, look at the top of Ant's name. It's something. What? My screen just went back down then. It's something in French. Huh? What was that?
What?
I don't know. I'm lost with that one.
What? What one?
Joe Max put, hey, look at the top of Ant's name. It's something in French.
If she said something about you could speak French. She can't speak French, but you might be able to speak
I
French.
can't speak French.
Je m'appelle
Je m'appelle, ça va? Ça va bien?
Vicky L. Oh dear.
It will with Lindsay. I know he's abatement order. We'll end up with something like that. Right, I've got steak in my tea. We had a steak for tea.
How's Claire's flatulence?
What?
Nothing.
I'm not asking her that. I presume everybody heard you anyway, so Claire will be able to answer you herself, and I haven't actually got to tell
I
her.
can't see
Why not?
because I had to come off my phone. Facebook was broken.
I thought you'd updated it.
No, it's updating. Would you like to see a shipwreck? Well, it's only a little shipwreck, but it's a shipwreck. Have you done history?
What history?
Have you finished all the history?
Yeah, I've done all history. I'm up to date. Sure.
Oh, that's okay then.
Oh my God, Lindsay, I've had no sleep all night. I was, and then there's all clouds and that.
Oh dear.
And Laura's is foreign writing at the top. I don't.
Don't know. Check your updates, everybody. Facebook might have updated without you knowing.
I can't see because I'm on StreamYard, so I can't see. But I will have a look. Are you sure you haven't changed your language on your Facebook or something, Joe? Because I don't know. I'm gonna have a look now. Let's have a look. Exploring.
Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. The cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed.
I'm getting there. Whoa.
Such fun. The dish ran away with the spoon. Why is it dish ran away with spoon? Why couldn't it be fork ran away with knife?
I don't know. I'll have to wait till people comment.
Comment for the people.
I think they're all English on mine as far as I can see.
It's Joe. She'll have done the settings. She'll have switched it. Or one of the kids that have been playing on a phone. And it's changed it to gibberish.
It's not goodbye, it's bonjour.
Bonjour. Thought bonjour were hello, not
It
goodbye.
is, it's what Del Boy said.
Oh yeah.
It's not goodbye, it's bonjour.
That's it. You read the history a little bit about the church across from us.
No, why? Where's that?
It's in the folder.
There's a little church across from us I will be going across to.
In there though, we've got to see where the big house is first.
Yeah, we've got to find out where Vicar lives.
Because we're very keen on the churches around Cornwall. Every church is a Methodist church.
Is it this one, this parish church of...
That's the one.
This is another one. I mean, why would you call a place this?
One.
Perrin Zabulo. Perrin Zabulo. Is that where we are?
No.
Well, it's not that church then.
This is that church. It tells you a thing.
Right. The church opposite from us that we are going to go... Lindsay, I've been put on some different medication for my blood. That means I have to carry an alert card around with me. That's Gillian. St. Piran in the Sands. The present church is the third which has been erected in this parish. The earliest was the church of Oratory of St. What?
A load of these words. Go on.
Yeah, because that's why you made me read it out. Of St. Piran, an early British saint who came from Ireland in a mission to Cornwall. This building, from its structural peculiarities, has been considered by competent authorities to date from the 6th century and is supposed to have been erected over the tomb of St. Piran, and a headless skeleton conjectured to be that of the saint was found buried beneath the altar. When the oratory was first discovered and cleared from sand in 1835, its external dimensions were found to be the length 29 feet breadth by 16.5 feet 8 of gables, 19 feet. The masonry was of the rudest kind. How do you get rude masonry?
Don't know.
China clay being substituted for lime. The entrance door was at the southern side with a semicircular arch ornamented with a leopard's head carved on the keystone and a human head on each side at the spring of the arch. These, together with the corbels, are now in Truro Museum. That were closed today. We were going to go in that, but it were closed. It closes on a Sunday and a Monday. It is supposed that this oratory was first overwhelmed with sand in the 9th century, when another church was erected on the further side of a stream which kept back the shifting sands. This was rebuilt in 1420 in a style some magnificence, and was safe from the encroachments of the sand for more than a century. The course of the stream having been turned and its waters drawn off by the working of mines, the sand encroached still further, and in 1803 it was resolved, after some discussion, to remove and rebuild the church. Accordingly, the tower, windows, arches, pillars, and porch were removed to a part of the parish called Lambourne, 2 miles distance, where now stands the present church of St. Piran, a cruciform building of stone in the perpendicular style, consisting of chancel nave, transepts, south porch, and an embattled western tower with pinnacles containing 3 bells. In the north transept is a tablet of white marble, and underneath is the following inscription: "The first stone of this parish church was laid in the year 1804, and 2 former ones have been successively overwhelmed with sand of the desert in which they were imprudently built. In 1879, the church was reopened by the Right Reverend E.W. Benson, D.D., then Bishop of Truro and Archbishop of Canterbury." Oh my God! After having undergone restoration throughout, the galleries were removed, the church reseated, and the chancel raised, and a carved oak pulpit and western screen constructed from wood of the old benches. There are 400 sittings. On the site of the second church stands a tall, round-headed cross 9 feet high and about 2 feet wide at the base. The register of baptism dates from the year 1614, marriages 1603, burials 1653, but the earlier portions consist of imperfect fragments. There you go. If that means anything to anybody, then you're better than me, because I ain't got a clue what half of that meant. But Lindsay wanted to read the histories of the church.
I think Joe sent me a picture of Laura's, and I think Laura's settings, you know, if you like, you want to, what do you call it?
Transylvania?
No, you know, like when you go onto a site that's not English and then you have to translate.
Yeah.
I think Laura's setting must be set to translate. So if Laura goes on somebody else's site that's not English, it translates what she's saying. So that's why it comes up with translation.
It's not. Yeah, it's not translating what Laura says though. It's just translating where it says supporter or whatever.
Yeah, it's translated that. Yeah, so I think it's something.
But it's not just Laura's that's done it. It's doing it on Antoinette's as well.
Yeah, then might be something to do with Facebook settings. That if there's been an update, it might just be doing that.
I have no idea. Almost forgot to book in my ironing. Really? I might start booking my ironing somewhere rather than me doing it. Sounds like a better plan. Andrew's doing theirs tomorrow. I did ours before we came down. Obviously. No, I don't understand why David called you sensible. Antoinette's done all her ironing.
Just take me Nan's advice.
What's your nan's advice?
Buy stuff that don't need ironing. Buy everything in the material that don't need ironing.
That's one job that Claire hates. It gets collected and bought back on hangers.
I used to pay to have my ironing done though.
Shocking.
Till you did it.
Right, guys, I'm going to call it anyway. I'm going to end this live tonight. So I hope you have enjoyed us catch up on the days in
I'll
history.
be on in the morning.
Lindsay will be on in the morning.
Morning chit chat, and then we'll try and go live in afternoon if we can go and find somewhere nice if I'm not resting.
I've no idea, Laura. I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know if they're on about you.
What about who?
Laura.
What about Laura?
I don't know. She's, are you talking about me? Am I the only Laura on here now?
Yeah, I think, I don't know whether, well, it's Laura and Antoinette, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's not Laura and Antoinette that's going to be changing the settings. It's going to be Joe that's changed the settings.
Yeah, well, I don't, No, well, it could be because Joe screenshotted it. But it didn't show me that on mine. I don't think.
Oh, I don't know.
It don't matter. We know who they are.
So yeah, guys, take care. Have a great night, and I shall see you
See
all
you
tomorrow.
morning.
So she's saying no, she am. I don't know. It's probably just Facebook.
Oh,
Facebook playing up.
oh,
So I'm gonna go and have my donut.
donut.
So take care, guys, and we shall see you all tomorrow.
Let's have a donut.
Bye.
Donut.
Oh, my
See
computer's
ya.
broke.